Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. So, I just found this Hollywood Reporter article. 2018 box office revenue hits new record in North America. Now, I discussed this was coming about last week, didn't I? Now, I'm going to tell you the truth of this article, but let me read it to you. Because I always find these really kind of amusing every year. A well-received crop of movies that appealed to a diverse audience fueled the boom. Hollywood and theatre owners got an early Christmas present on Sunday when 2018's domestic box office revenue, funny, they always talk about domestic, don't they, surpassed the record set in 2016, with this year's lucrative Christmas-New Year corridor still to come. Right. The new benchmark won't be finalised until Monday, when final weekend grosses are calculated, but an early read shows that combined ticket sales for the year have hit 11.383 billion compared to 11.3992 billion for all of 2016. A crop of New Year end movies opening over the weekend, including Aquaman, Mary Poppins Returns and Bumblebee, aided in closing the gap. At this pace, there's a good chance 2018 domestic revenue could hit 11.8 billion by the end of New Year's Eve attendance. New Year's Eve attendance is also up year over year by between 5% and 7%, right? Here we go. I love this. Disney once again led all studios on Sunday, celebrated its own milestone. Its 2018 slate, led by Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War and Incredibles 2, has generated north of 3 billion domestically to top the industry mark Disney set in 2016 when it hit 3 billion, a first for any distributor. But they don't mention the rest of their films. They've had quite a few films out this year, right? So let's look at Solo, a Star Wars story. Let's look at Christopher Robin, A Wrinkle in Time. Very, very below par box office performances, but we're not going to mention that. So, overall, a well-received crop of tentpoles and other event picks appealing to a diverse audience helped to fuel the boom. Right, they've let them, basically, the cat's out of the bag there. Let me just, tentpole and event picks, yes. Tentpole and event picks are doing okay, right? But all the other films are not doing so well. So you see, when I grew up in the 80s and 90s, there was a wide range of movies that would make good box office. There was a good variety of creativity. Now, it's only the event pictures that are doing well. Again, people are not really going to the cinema all round, and there's not a balance anymore. But they're not going to talk about that, of course. So where are we? Right. Here we go. They're going to mention Black Panther again and Avengers Infinity War and Incredibles 2. So let's look. Following Black Panther, 700 million, Avengers Infinity War, 678.8 million, and Incredibles 2, 608.6 million. The number 4 and number 5 top grossing domestic titles to date are Universal's Jurassic Park, Fallen Kingdom, 416.8 million, and Fox's Deadpool, 3.185 million. Here you go. They're still talking about Disney. Disney, which is on the verge of acquiring 20th Century Fox. Yeah, but what did they lose to get that? Yeah, remember how they wanted Sky TV? How you were saying Sky TV was very important part of that deal. They didn't get it, did they? Yeah, we all know why. We all know why, don't we? Because the other company who got it wouldn't leave them alone until they got Sky. But again, we won't mention that. Commands an unprecedented 27% of the domestic market share. Put another way, Disney is more than 1 billion ahead of the next nearest studio. And don't they love telling us that? But again, they had some major flops this year. Imagine what they could have made if the other films had the quality. No, but we won't talk about that. The nearest studio is Universal in North America, and its global ticket sales have already crossed 7 billion for the year. only the second time that any studio has done so. So Disney was the first. There's no stats yet for 2018 international box office, but there's no stats actually for this year's box office. They just thought they'd jumped the gun. So there's no stats for the US box office, but they thought they'd get in there, right? Part of the reason is foreign currency fluctuations in recent years. Offshore ticket sales have usually driven growth at the worldwide box office. This year is the rare exception. Basically, right, yeah. Now, let me just talk about, you need to understand what's going on here. You need someone to explain to you the whole truth of these situations. Now, they're already making excuses for the international box office, which won't be very high and won't be a high when you compare it to year on year, because international box office for Hollywood American-made movies is getting lesser and lesser and lesser, because globally people are going less and less to the cinema because the international audience, and it's not about fluctuations in money or anything like that. That's just an excuse. They're just trying to garnish the situation. It's the international audience are more intelligent than the American beef steak chomping audience, because what happens is with the American audience, they're subservient to critics and Rotten Tomatoes. They'll just look on there, yes sir, I'll go and watch what you told me to. Now an international audience, which is used to a better palette of storytelling and creativity, will say, I'm not seeing you, I'm not seeing you, I'm not seeing this blockbuster because I know it's going to be the same as all the others. That's the truth of the matter. This is the truth of the matter. So all this report does basically is saying that the American box office is better than it was, or getting closer to 2016. It doesn't even show a great increase, right? All it is for them, this is what they do. They know that cinematic movies are on a downturn. The creativity, every movie you see is pretty similar to the last. But in fact, when you look at all the flops, even in the US, it shows that the audience are now losing confidence in American Hollywood-run cinema. How will this change? Well, this can only change this industry can only change if someone somewhere else captures the market and starts making interesting, independent movies with variety. Because it's all very well talking about finance, but finance isn't a stamp of quality. Just like high ratings on television isn't a stamp of good quality television. When you look deeper at Hollywood-made movies, the quality, the variety isn't there. The rewatchability factor isn't there. That's the truth. So forget about these figures. These figures don't show a good quality of film. The quality of film that we had in the 80s, the late 70s, the 90s, and even the early noughties has gone. All they're just making the same kind of films all the time. This industry will go bankrupt within the next 20 to 40 years if they don't change what they're doing. And I won't cry any tears over Hollywood. Now, I don't want you to misunderstand me. I love superhero films. I used to love Star Wars films. I love good blockbusters. But these people are taking it too far. They're not taking care of business. They're not creating the small films. The romantic comedy has died. And the small little stories with 3 or 4 characters in them have died. There's nothing there anymore. There's no balance. There's no variety. There's no quality. So this looks all very good. But when you look at it deeper, Hollywood are in real trouble.